Thunderbolts is possibly the least anticipated superhero movie this year. There's no big names, just a cast of second stringers who had supporting roles in earlier Marvel projects. And yet this turned out to be surprisingly good. With fun characters and a strong storyline, it's one of the most enjoyable Marvel movies in years. The seeds of the project have been planted in the last several years of Marvel movies and TV shows, with Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine popping up and recruiting various characters for her shady Black Ops missions, like a dodgy version of Nick Fury. Here she is front and centre, in front of a congressional inquiry into her affairs, and desperately trying to wriggle out of it. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a skilled comic performer. Her role here is not too far away from Selena Meyer in Veep, a ruthless politician only out for herself, but with even fewer moral scruples than Selena had, so she's very entertaining throughout. The team she puts together are all familiar faces for those keeping up with the MCU. Florence Pugh as Yelena is arguably the lead, after memorable appearances in Black Widow and Hawkeye, where her character stole the show with her quirky humour. Here she gets to step up and become the emotional centre of the film, dealing with her trauma from being a child assassin and her depression from thinking it's the only thing she can do. It's a much more serious portrayal of the character than before, and Florence Pugh absolutely nails it. David Harbour as her father figure Alexei has more of a comedic role, as you would expect from such a larger-than-life character, but he also gets some emotional scenes with Yelena, so his character isn't just there for comic relief. Also on board is Wyatt Russell as John Walker, the former Captain America who smashed a terrorist's face in during Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's kind of downplayed here to make the character more relatable, but we do see the fallout from his actions, with him losing his family, so there are some consequences at least. Hannah John Kamen is back as Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, one of the least essential Marvel movies. Even I can barely remember anything about it. Her backstory is briefly mentioned here, but she's mainly there for her cool phasing powers. Her character isn't really explored that much, which is a bit of a shame. Still, she has more to do than Olga Korylenko in her second appearance as Taskmaster, and again it's baffling why they got such a big name for such a small role. Her mask is cool, but that's about it. Once the gang all come together, there is the obligatory sequence where they all fight each other, which is a bit predictable but allows them all to show off their fighting styles. Eventually they realise they have to team up and work together to escape a secret lab, which involves them all climbing up a lift shaft back to back. I'm not sure that would work in the real world. Maybe someone will make a Mythbusters style video where they try it out, but it seems very dangerous, so maybe not. And then they have to fight their way out through a small army, which is standard stuff, but I guess it's part of the team. After they get back to America, they are joined by Bucky Barnes, played by Sebastian Stan. He's the most familiar character in the movie. He's been around since the first Captain America, so you would expect him to be the leader of the group, but mostly he takes a backseat to Yelena. I guess he's been around so long he's now become the wise old mentor figure. His character is now a congressman somehow. It doesn't really fit his established character. Anyone who watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier would not have expected him to launch a political career, but I guess they needed him to be a political opponent for Valentina, and in the second half of the movie, it's basically all forgotten about anyway. The final character I should mention is Bob, played by Lewis Pullman. It's very hard to talk about him without giving spoilers, but let's just say he's very good at playing the character who seems to be a perfectly ordinary guy with nothing special going on. But then as the movie progresses, we get to see several different sides to him, and he's just as impressive, showing off all these different facets of the character. I wasn't familiar with the actor before, but he's definitely one to watch. After the team confront Valentina, the real final confrontation begins. There's all the big action scenes you might expect, with cranes falling through buildings and helicopters crashing to the ground, but it does give the team a chance to become proper heroes for once and save the lives of innocent people, which is a much bigger deal for these characters who thought they were all outcast from society and would never get to help people, than conventional superheroes who do that sort of thing all the time. The villain has a very distinctive look, all in shadows but with two sparkling stars for eyes, and his gimmick of turning people into shadows is a really cool visual and very disturbing. It looks like he's just splattered them into pools of blackness. He's just crazy powerful, as shown in the scene where he fights all of the Thunderbolts and completely wipes the floor with them. The scene where they all come together to defeat him is certainly unconventional, but it fits with the themes of the movie and is perfectly in keeping with how the characters have grown and developed throughout. So it's a really positive feel-good ending, which is no bad thing. At the end, the team are all set up for further adventures, as they are given a new name, which is exactly what everyone speculated it would be. And the end credits follow on from that, within universe headlines telling the story of what happened next. It's a great use of the end credits to keep telling the story, and more movies should really do that sort of thing. The final post-credit scene flashes forward to presumably the time of Avengers Doomsday, and it gives you a little tease of what the gang will be doing in that movie. It's not much, but it does whet the appetite for next year's blockbuster. Overall, it's a very enjoyable film, with all the action and humour you would expect from Marvel, and a surprising amount of depth as well. If you don't count the Deadpool movies, I'd say this is probably my favourite Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame. Hopefully once the next few Avengers movies are done, they can go back to making movies like this. It may have been a risk, but it definitely paid off. So thanks for watching. More film reviews will be coming. The new Fantastic Four and Superman movies look like being really good, so I'll definitely be reviewing them when they come out in July. And maybe I'll fit in a few more before then as well. So press like or subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and I'll see you next time.